8:35. Do you pay your TV licence fee? Well, of course you must. I would never for one second suggest that you should not, but there is now increasing weight to those who say, well, you shouldn't. BBC will investigate claims people have been sent threatening warning letters by the body responsible for collecting the TV licence fee. The company's called TV Licensing. You may recognise it from that fairly grim logo that goes on the top of their letters. They enforce the annual £145.50p fee that we have to pay to get the BBC, or indeed anything else, otherwise we go to jail. And they've been accused of wrongly threatening some of the public with a referral to a debt collection agency. That's the key. Do you have a letter such as that? The BBC Trust initially rejected the complaint. No, really? After TV Licensing said it had made significant revisions to the letters. However, despite those assurances, the complainant then received another letter and a phone call threatening debt collectors being brought in. How disgusting. The BBC's Trust Complaints and Appeals Board said it was not in principle acceptable for a fully licensed member of the public to be sent a letter of warning of a referral to a debt collection agency. TV Licensing says the initial complaint had already been addressed by a review of these letters. They were changed in 2014. The complainant later set up a new licence while their previous licence was still valid. When they missed their cash payments, letters advised they might be referred to debt collection. This would only happen in a tiny number of cases. Dear, oh dear. Mark is with TV Licence Resistance. What can you tell us about these sort of stories? You ever seen these letters, Mark, or some of your members? Morning.
Morning. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to put this into some sort of context, the TV licensing people, in a typical year, they send out 90 million letters. Okay.
Right.
Now,
are these just simple reminders, though, some of these?
Well, I suppose there are a small number that I think you could probably say, yes, that's a simple reminder.
Okay.
About maybe 25, 27 million of them are the actual licences that they're sending to people as well. But the remainder, something like, 35, 40 million letters a year, are basically threatening letters of various sorts that they send to, in the main, and this is the interesting thing about this story, in the main they're sent to people who don't have licences. And obviously some of those people need a licence and some of them don't.
Right.
At the stage when TV Licensing is sending the letters, they don't know who's who, so they send everybody the threats and invite people who don't need a licence to ignore them. Which is kind of a strange way to do business, we think.
But hang on, if this was being done by another company, you'd see it on a BBC show such as Watchdog, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a hallmark of the BBC's hypocrisy in this, which is that obviously they control a number of major outlets for consumer journalism in the media.
Yeah.
And very, very rarely reported on any of those outlets. Certainly, it's never been on Watchdog. And you'd think it would be right up their street. But, people receiving threatening letters, incompetent use of databases, people going door to door and kind of being economical with the truth in order to further the aims of the company. All those things, they're perfect for Watchdog. So I think really that we should lay down the challenge to them that they ought to do.
Then to investigate their own. Lastly, this isn't obviously the death throes, but is it the continuing demise of the TV licence? Would you say?
Yeah, I think we're going to see more and more stories about TV licence and TV licensing in the run-up to charter renewal in 2016. And the latest, most important one from our point of view was the story that 1,000 people a day are legitimately stopping paying the licence because they don't need one anymore.
Sorry, in what way is that legitimate? Because what you just said, to my view, is that's illegal. So what are they doing?
No, they're people that are, how a lot of young people aren't watching television as such.
Sure.
What they're doing is they're watching individual programmes on catch-up services like iPlayer
I see.
Or Netflix, and that's perfectly legal.
So hang on, don't you need a licence to have the equipment to record the programme in the first place?
It's not recording, it's downloading over the internet. So
you don't need equipment. So to have a unit that actually plays the show out, I appreciate you're not doing it in real time, but you don't need to have a licence to have a telly as long as you don't take current pictures, effectively, in very crude terms.
Right. Absolutely right, yes.
It's interesting.
So an easy way to save £145.50 a year.
It's got my vote. Did I actually say that? I don't think I'm allowed to. Mark, you're with TV Licence Resistance. If you have one of those letters, let me know. It's over, isn't it? Let's be honest about it. You talk to people in other countries. I always use this example when I lived and worked in the US, and I was working in television. And so you talk about TV, and how does the BBC work? Well, you have to pay it. And I think in those days it was like 75 quid. I can't remember. Why? Well, even if you just watch ITV and Sky, because Sky just started, Yeah, that's right. And I remember this guy, a very bright guy, saying, but that is ludicrous. That would be like you have to have a licence to use the freeways, which is like motorways, but you only ever use the side roads. How on earth can that be justified? And you say, only in Britain. It is truly ridiculous. Anachronistic, antediluvian, and all the other long words that I never really know what they mean. All right, let's go to this TV licensing conversation. Emails coming in on that. I'll do a couple of those. This comes in from Tony in Westgate. In the past, the BBC has been blowing a heck of a lot of its money on selling flowers to hired stars and celebrities. Why don't they just let Sky take it over? As if BBC programmes are scrambled, hardly anyone would take a look at them. And another Tony, this one in Great Yarmouth, says, I owned a house which was empty for 3 years. I got very offensive letters every 3 months saying I was to be taken to court and agencies will come round and remove my property if I don't pay up. Each time I rang up and explained the situation, they said I'd never hear from them again, and then 2 months later, I'd get the threats again. Rob's in Moseley on this. What are you going to tell me, Rob?
Good morning, Nick. How are you?
I'm good, sir. What can you tell me on this story?
Right. On February, we had a visit from a bailiff on behalf of TV licensing.
Oh, yes.
Saying that we did not have a TV licence. I was at work at the time. My partner was at home. We had a TV licence set up on direct debit on a rolling contract thing. You know, it automatically renews every year. We don't have to do anything about it.
Yeah.
I'd had no letters from TV licensing nor my bank to say there'd been any issues with my direct debit. This gentleman turns up, says that we don't have a TV licence. He asked my partner whether we do have one. She says, as far as I was aware, yes, we do. My partner pays for it. We've had no letters. And he said, thank you very much for your time. That was it. He went.
Right.
3 weeks after that, we had a letter through saying we were being taken to court due to not having a TV licence. So I phoned up TV licence and I said, what is going on?
Yes.
TV licence themselves didn't actually know that we were being taken to court. They said they had no idea of it, so they put...
it had gone into a debt collection agency, had it?
Well, they put me through to their prosecution department. And they said, yes, we're aware, but don't worry, fill out the form.
And ultimately, I'm terribly sorry, and I know you want to give us all the detail, and I'm grateful for that, but ultimately, how did it resolve itself? Because I've got so many people waiting to talk and I've other things to...
Yeah, it's resolved itself. We got taken to court. We said everything was going to be fine. It turned out not to be. We've now got a £200 fine that we have to pay for not having a TV licence for 12 days.
You have to pay that now?
Yes.
And you can't appeal it?
We've appealed it. They've said, can't do anything about it. You didn't have a TV licence, even though we've got proof from TV licence themselves saying that there was no break in the TV licence. But we said we have to pay this £200 fine.
So you're just going to do it, are you, to get it out of the way, really?
We've got to. It's due within the end of next week. If we don't pay it, it's just going to be more hassle I can't afford and my family don't need.
In a sentence, and remember there are children listening, what do you think about this? What do you think about this, Robbins?
I think it's absolutely disgusting the way it's been. It's always us that have to suffer when, as quite a few people have pointed out already this morning, they're quite happy spending their money on stuff they don't need. We weren't notified of a mistake and we're being punished.
Rob, I think you're just one of those things. Have to put it down to being one of life's life's tapestry, isn't it? Very sorry for you. Thank you. 6 minutes before 9 is the time.